So as we are discussing the interfaces, so what we have learned that interfaces is actually an entity like the class only, that but it doesn't have the rooms which will be totally described, that okay, this is the bedroom and this bedroom has to have the bed at this place, the wardrobe at this place, the bedside table has to be by the side of bed. Nothing is described as such. So it's just a room where nothing is defined. So we thought like interfaces can solve this multiple inheritance problem for Java, the diamond problem. So okay, let me ask someone. Kavita, can you tell me what is diamond problem?
It's the ambiguity of the complexity of the methods and the functions that are defined in the parent class, which cannot be inherited into the child class because of multiple parents, we can say.
Can you even explain it in a more like interview level manner? Like if someone asks you in the interview, what is the diamond problem? What would be your answer?
It's like when I'm defining some methods, some properties and the behaviors in a parent class. It is not like it will be supported into the child class. I can say like when when a child has to acquire properties and the behavior from aunt and uncle other than mom and dad, along with mom and dad, it is not possible to acquire their behavior and properties.
Okay. Anyone else wants to give it a try?
Actually, when a child inherits uh, the properties from multiple parents, uh, that would get confused when while calling the methods, because they can have there is a chance of having same methods, and also they will have a same method if they are inherited from the same ancestor. Uh, Amitabh. Actually, we have
Okay.
a super class called object. From that
Yes.
object, the parents would be getting the default methods, which we usually don't observe, but they are. So when it tries to call a method, it will be confused from which parent it has to inherit. So that ambiguity is called diamond problem.
It is
Correct.
confused.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Actually, child class is confused by the properties from which, if they have parents, the child class is confused from to take the properties from which parent class it has to. In that way,
Correct.
we have to call it as a diamond.
Correct. So like, see, if anyone asks you what is the diamond problem, the one line answer throughout the interview, any interview you can give, the diamond problem is known as the ambiguity of the child, where the child is in the ambiguous mode where it doesn't know which parent to inherit from. And now it happens, then these all things whatever you guys are saying, that parent may have a same method which I'm trying to call, then the child will get the ambiguity that from which parent it should come. Just add to what's before it, that is for example, I have a child has two parents and both the parents has the same method, and the child wants to get that same method recalled or overridden in its own class, then it would be in the ambiguous mode from which parent it has to take it. Okay, that's it. So regarding this diamond problem, the confusion came because, as we knew, or as we have just discussed, that the parents had same method and it was defined maybe in a different way in both of the parent. That's why the child was confused, but it got the solution right away through the interfaces. Interface said, boss, I may have room, or I am a house, I may have designated areas that this would be the bedroom, this would be the kitchen, this would be the dining room, but I haven't defined the way it should be. I haven't defined that, boss, this bedroom has to be 10 cross 20. This dining hall has to be 20 cross 20. Like the sizes, the inside of that room, nothing is defined. And that's why the ambiguity is gone now. Now the child is not confused. It has to call from which parent. It can call from any parent and it would be the same case, right? Because nothing is defined particularly. Getting my point, right? So You guys are getting it, right? Yes, no.
Yes, Santa.
Yes.
Yes, yes, some.
Cool. So that's why interfaces came into the picture. So very good thing. I got an idea that was interface is just like a class entity which has methods just initialized, not inside anything is declared, and it has a bigger vision that it is solving the multiple inheritance. And we have seen that one particular class was inheriting two interfaces and there was no issue at all. So we have seen those parts, right? So here house one and house two was coming. So here it didn't matter to me that was it's coming from which particular house, we house one or house two. The interface worked perfectly. Now this interface, I got the methods, all good. Now here one question comes that the next question may or may not come in your interview, but which is a very important question, that can you create an object for interface? That is the question. Can you
No,
create
no.
an object? Come down.
No, Amita.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
no, we cannot create
No.
Yes.
an
Yes.
object
Yes.
that. It
Okay.
is
I'm glad you know the answer. Come down. So the interviewer may ask that can you
no,
create
Amita.
an? Yes. It's. I know that it's not possible. I'm trying to explain something else. Maybe those for those who doesn't know. So can we create an object for the interface? The answer is no. As you guys said, the interface we can't create an object for an interface. Now the second question, which is parallel to this, will come that why we can't create any object for an interface. And this is a very, very important question. Why we can't create an object for an interface. Now from us, Deepti will say that what are the things needed to create an object? What are the entities we
It
need to
doesn't
create
have
an object?
constructor.
I didn't ask for the direct answer. I'm asking what are the things you need to create an object?
We need variables, data types.
Data types. Why?
Yes.
Constructor.
No.
We use method.
Lakshmi, can you tell me what are the
Constructor, Amita.
what are the things we need to create an
Constructor.
object?
Constructor.
Only
Okay.
constructor is enough?
Class and constructor.
Class name
Class.
and class
Only class or constructor is enough?
New
and
keyword.
new keyword is used to find
New
the memory
keyword.
allocation.
Keywords. Yes,
So
yes.
every
New
time you guys will
keywords.
say one
An
thing and I'll
object
say
and
that
new
is enough or
keywords.
not.
Object reference.
New keyword is important for.
Yes. So if anyone asks you what are the things needed to create an object, you have to say the class. You have to explain everything. Okay, the class for which I want to create object, the object variable or the instance variable, the equals to new or the new keyword, and
Class
the
name.
constructor for
Class
which the property would be given. Okay, these are the things which are needed. Now, can we create an object for interface? No. Why? The answer is interfaces doesn't contain any constructor.
Yes.
So if you remember, the parallel question may come here from here. What is the constructor? How it works? So you guys remember all those things, I suppose. So the parallel question which is coming here, that like interfaces doesn't have a constructor. So if interfaces doesn't have a constructor, why we can't create the object? Then you have to say that what is the property of a constructor. So constructor is a method like it's same just like a method which doesn't have any return type and the same as class name and carries the property of that particular class when we are creating an object. And due to that, because the interface doesn't have any such as constructor, it doesn't have any representative to carry out and create the object. It's something like interfaces want to create it like buy a land. It went to the broker said, okay boss, I'm ready, you tell me how much land you need, and it couldn't give the data how much land is needed because the constructor is absent for him. So that's why interface can't create an object. So if you ever try to create an object for interface, it's not possible. Now here the interviewer also may ask that, boss, you are not writing any constructor for a class, then how a class is getting a constructor? It's not every time we write a constructor for a class, right? So then how class have it?
Default constructor.
Default.
Correct. A class will always have a default
implicit
constructor. Yes, there would be always an implicit constructor which is hidden. Like if I don't mention it, as soon as you creating a class, there is a constructor behind it. Java is not showing it up to you. You are not seeing it, but it's always there. And then the parallel question of it, then if I want to write a constructor, what will happen to the default one? I told you guys before, if you
It
write,
won't work.
yes, once you write a single constructor of yourself, then the default constructor would be gone from the memory. It not be available anymore. What you have written, that is the only constructor. From here, see how the interview flow is going. You are getting one by one questions. Now from here, they might ask you, can constructor be overloaded? Can constructor be overloaded? Have you guys tried that?
Yes, Amitabh, we can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Constructor
It
is
can be
overloaded.
overloaded.
Yes, constructors can be overloaded. Now, what is an overloading? Overloading is something of a method where the name is same, the name is same, but the parameters or arguments are different. Yes, parameters and arguments are depending on different and two policies, either different data type or different sequence.
Yes,
Cool.
yes.
That was the all questions you can think of interface and all. Okay. Any doubts till now? No doubts, huh? Super.
Amitabh, actually, I've read that interfaces cannot be overridden. I tried looking for a reason, but I couldn't understand how many times I watch. I couldn't get it. I don't know.
Interfaces cannot be overridden, you are saying.
Yes, overridden.
Constructor overriding that.
Sorry,
Constructor, like
constructor. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's what I'm thinking.
constructor not overriding.
Right.
Yes. Constructor you can't override. How can I say this? See, if you
It's like
remember, override is something you can misspell it, but override is overwrite. That's the basic thing. WRITE, writing something. So now, when you have started a class, okay, yeah, I have a class A, and with my class A, whatever the things I put in the class A, what are the different data types I put in inside it, everything would be saved in the constructor, right? So I have a class A. So inside this house, I have one bedroom or whatever the properties I put in. This is 8 byte, this is 4, this is 4, this is 2 byte. Whatever the bytes all together, it's getting saved in the A constructor, correct?
Yes.
Class A will have the constructor like this. So now if you overwrite this or override this, will this data be same? No, right? Then this data is getting out basically.
Yes.
Constructor is said to be, if you, okay, this thing I missed out, thank you for reminding this. Constructors are said to be, in my concept, constructors are said to be the door of the room. Okay, the
Okay.
main door of your house. It's not any particular to individual. Okay, so something where from you are entering or carrying out the properties of the class. Until unless you enter your house, you can't see what are inside, correct? You don't know what are the rooms inside, what are the furniture inside, what is the decoration inside. So constructors are doing the same thing. It's opening up the space for the like equals to new to know how much memory is needed, and it's creating a space which will always refer to this house. It's like a plot number you are putting on. So if you overwrite this details is gone, right? Whatever the data was there inside.
Yes.
So it's not possible, like anyhow legally it's not possible that someone will just override, okay boss, this house at, like I don't know what is inside your house and I can say that boss, you had 2 bedrooms, why you have 3 bedrooms now suddenly? It's something like that. It's scanning out the property, so you can't override it. Rooms you can't change, right? Like today if it's something is my study room, I can later change it to my child's room, right? In future I can always redecorate it. I can always rearrange it. I have a bed at the corner. I can make the bed in the middle of my room. Anything is possible. The room can always be decorated. Room can always be defined. But constructor is something its own property of the class. It came with the house, the main door. When house is getting created, the main door is by default getting created. You are not something doing it intentionally. So
Hmm.
you can't just change it out.
Okay, and in interview, what I mean, if they ask for the reasons that they why the constructors are not overridden, what can we say, Amta? But at a single shot.
At a single shot, you can reply the constructor has the properties saved of the class, like what are the different, the class has the data types, how many methods are there, which is helping to create the object. So if you override the any constructor, then that particular data which the constructor is carrying, that is lost.
Okay.
So that would be a
Okay.
wrong data, or like it's not possible. So it's not
Yep.
possible. Like, yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Amta.
Cool. So any doubts? Interface, inheritance, full inheritance. I'm talking about. We are almost at closer of inheritance. I'm slowly entering polymorphism now. So before that, super. You guys went
And
through, right?
can we have any
Uh,
assignments on this, Amitabh? I mean, of course, we tried some examples, whatever we found on Java T point, like that. But I would like a practical scenario to work on interfaces because it is quite confusing when we go through all the topics. So,
I get it. So see, for my understand, it's not something like assignment I can give you for the interface. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Even in your real time, as I said, like until unless you do very much in-depth coding for the framework creation or some util creation, you're not going to use the inheritance also. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
but inheritances or this interface concept, these things I would like for my practice, I had tried, like I have like given you example, like RBI with SBI and banks with the try to Airtel, Vodafone, like that. It's just a
Right.
simple practice you can do for your own.
Okay.
Okay. And you can play like with it, like I have an interface, I tried to extend an interface with an interface, like interface extends
Yeah.
another interface. You can try
Yes.
that combination, or one class extends multiple interfaces, or one class extends one interface, then again that particular class is extended by another class.
Yeah.
So
We tried this one. Yeah.
this type of combination permutations you have to do on your own. Okay, this is
Okay.
something like you have to go out beyond the limit, you have to practice something. Even you may come up with some question that I even never practiced, I have never read about it, and we have to do hands on later in the next session. So there is always a possibility of that. So play
Okay.
with different permutation combinations, and it's possible, like genuinely it's possible.
Okay. Thanks,
And
Amta.
yeah, cool.
Yeah.
So now whatever we have done till now, we have learned that interfaces cannot be, interfaces methods or methods of interfaces is not implemented, right? We don't have anything particularly inside. So if I have a interface I1, so if I have a method here that public, uh
Static.
all right, let's
Void.
not give static. You guys also try to remove static from your methods, okay, slowly. Like day-to-day activity, if you write 100 methods, I can guarantee you, if you write 100 methods every day and you write 30 days in a month, so you will have 3000 methods. Among them 3005 would be static. So that's the lowest percentage you are going to use. So static methods, try to keep it out of your mind, because most of the things you are going to use through object creation only. Okay, so I have a method public sum, and this is all right. This is an interface that I have a method.
Your screen is not visible on the top.
yeah, it's visible.
Okay, let
Yeah.
me
It's,
reshare. Let me reshare. Let me know now.
yeah. I can see it. Amta.
Maybe for me network issue, Amitabh, it's not. It's
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I'll go ahead. Try to imagine if possible, or else it will be a little bit tough. I know.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
visible. The back.
Cool. So we have an interface I1, and I have a method public void sum, and that's all we do in the interface, right? That's a method initialization, and that's done. We don't have any implementation inside it. Okay. Now you may or may not have read this somewhere. Maybe some methods of interfaces can be implemented. Now that's a, you know, boom. Till now whatever we have read or studied, everything is false, then no, nothing is false. So methods are not implemented. That is the concept of interface. Even till Java 11 they have carried out this. They said was till Java 8, sorry, till Java 8 you will not, like till that version, like they have changed the version also, right? Java 1.0.8.321 or 341, like that they will have the versions. So till a certain version, that was the case, that never a method can be implemented inside an interface. But they have changed this. Okay, this is an upgrade of Java, and you should know about it. Are you gonna use it ever? No, I haven't used it till now. I don't know. Maybe in future, if I use it, that would be a rare case. So you can implement a method inside an interface. For that, what you have to do? This access modifier needs to be default. Once it's default, default methods of any interface can be implemented. If you have a default method of any interface, you can implement it. And there would be no error. Okay, like a normal method. Normal methods, like a normal method will have initialization and the implementation, both, right? So both is possible when you write a default method inside an interface. It's an upgradation of Java. It happened almost 3 to 4 years back. It's not a new upgrade for you guys, but you should know, because the concept till now, even if you write maybe 5 documentation, among those 3, they will say no methods are implemented in interface, but implementation of interface is possible. That's the thing. First boom. Second boom is, now my question is to you guys, that when I was doing multiple inheritance, then what will happen to these methods which are implemented? Any idea?
I mean, in the sense, I mean, we can access them by creating an object for. I can say
How
we
can we
can
create
take
an
an.
how
I
can we
mean,
create an
we can take the object reference of an interface equals to new and the class name and the
class
construct.
constructor you are saying?
Yeah, yeah.
No, my question is, like, if I have an interface I1 with a default method of sum, I may have an interface of I2 similarly, which is also has a default sum method. Then what will happen when I am getting both the interfaces in the same class?
Extended the keyword. That's I1.
See, I am giving you a scenario which I haven't tried ever. I'm not sure, but with my knowledge, it should be the case. It should not be implemented. Multiple inheritance should not be possible in this case. So in my experience, what I am thinking of, that interface I1 has to be implemented in a class first. This class can be extended later. I'll just give you a single scenario. Let's not consider 2 interfaces with the same method. Okay, I don't want to confuse you guys. So let's consider only I1 is present in life right now. I1 has a default method and I want to implement it. So class C1 will implements the I1. Okay, what will happen in this case? In this case, I know already the answer. Okay, so the answer, what will happen in this case? Can anyone guess it? What will happen in this case? That I have some methods which doesn't have any implementation, but I have one more method here also. Let's make it multiplication. The multiplication method which has some data inside it. What will happen in this case? C1 implements interface I1.
Method overrides the implementation of the initial interface.
It is not possible, Amita. Only the methods present in interface only we can use in the class.
Default methods also it will be there in the interface, Amitabh. Actually, it is present in the same class only. No, automatically it will take. Actually, I thought, Amitabh.
Okay, you guys are giving not bad answers, I would say, like almost very close. So just think of common sense. Okay, first is common sense. If you're learning coding, you need a common sense. And second thing is you need to know, be practical. So what will happen here? C1 is implementing I1. So there are 2 methods here which are not implemented, correct? These 2 methods you will be overriding here. No issues. At the rate override. Will this method come for override? Yes or no?
No. Actually, first we have to override the first interface methods, and then we will go to the default.
No. Just understand my question. I am saying these interface methods will go for override. That's correct. Both are going for override because they don't have any implementation. Obviously, they will get an implementation here in the class. Correct. But this
Yeah,
default
yeah.
method which has an implementation, will it go for override? Yes or no?
No.
No, Amitabh, it can't go override. Actually, what is present in the
No.
interface is just comes to the class itself. It can't override actually.
Correct. So what CS said is correct. I'll
No,
explain to you
default
guys.
method will come.
So what will happen? Default method you have already implemented in the interface, right? So you can't override it here in the C1. It will just by default would be here present. Like it will not be showing there obviously, but you can access it. It's possible to access it. But these two methods which were not implemented would be implemented there. You have to implement it. Okay, like there would be by default, or else this error will come. The error comes here, right, which shows that implement the unimplemented methods, and then these two will automatically come here, these two methods. But the default one will not come because it's already implemented. Not an issue. Now what I want you guys to practice, this would be a good practice. Create an interface I1, have a default method inside it, and have some normal interface methods. Understand what I'm saying? I'm saying have I1 which will have interface methods, method 1, method 2, and one default method. Try it to implement in the class. This is first task in a single class. One interface, one class. Closed. In another part, what I want you guys to do, I want you guys have to having another interface which will have M1, M2, and default method 4. Okay, don't give the same name. You don't need that much complexity in your life. So M3 and M4. These two can be same, it doesn't matter because they are not implemented. Then have a class and try to implement both I1 and I2 and see what happens here. Okay, got the task what I'm giving?
Yeah, Amitabh.
Yes, Amita.
Yes, sir.
Try to do it. Okay, this would be very interesting. Uh,
Actually, Amitabh, we are good at theory part, but we are unable to do the programming. It is tough for us actually.
why?
I don't know, Amitabh. That syntax and all. I mean, there is a confusion while writing that programming for the interface. I had tried, Amitabh. Maybe a lot more I have to work on interface. By that, maybe I will reduce that confusion.
See, if you have to create an interface, it is going to interface, right? Like new interface.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
I'm creating interface demo. So just finish it, nothing else. So I have got an interface demo, right? So interface will always have few methods which are unimplemented, correct? So implementation starts with the scope, right? So if I don't give scope, that would be okay. So I have given just the method name and semicolon. The method is done. 1 second, guys. I'm getting a ping. Yeah. So I have got a method. Then I have this. I have got a method. Like, what is the confusion here? I'm not getting still. Like, if you guys are not practicing hands-on programming, you should practice that, right? Like, this is not
No, no,
something
Yeah,
I
Amita.
yeah,
can.
Amitabh. We
Actually,
have to
what
go down the-
Deepika meant is when we go point by point, we are very much clear. But when those are all
Yeah.
put together, somewhere we lag.
Somewhere we are getting stuck, Amitabh. Doesn't know where it is. We are not somewhat bet. I mean, writing a program is not. I mean, we are getting a confusion while writing a program. But the theory
What
part
type
and
of
all. I mean,
confusion?
I
What
mean,
type of confusion is coming? Like the syntax, what I should write, this type of things.
maybe yeah, syntax and also. I mean, what should we have to write here like that? We are getting confusion in the interface, Amitabh. Before that and all, it is okay. Before the concepts and all
Only
is
for the
okay for us.
interface.
Yes. I'm getting confusion on this.
No, but the interface has the lowest type of syntax, no, inside it because doesn't you have to put inside.
Yeah. We have to try, Amitabh. I mean, I have to try
Yeah,
again.
it's
Uh,
always about practice. So try it as much as possible. Until unless you are feeling confident, that means you have to
mm.
practice.
Yeah. Sure, Amitabh.
So this is what I have told about. Even if you see when I have made it default and then see it's throwing an error, correct?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's saying to complete method declaration. You can see, right? So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like either you can go ahead with like anything, anyway you have to, sorry, you have to put this like things inside it. That's what the default. That's what I have asked you guys. Create an interface. Try to inherit it to a class directly. Single scenario, no issues. Have an interface. Have another interface, and try to both of them in a single class. See what happens. These type of scenarios you guys have to practice, and like the more you practice, trust me, it would be best for you to have the complexity or different types of question. Even if it arrives in the interview, you can handle it. Okay.
Yeah, Amitabh, sure. Okay, we'll try it.
Inheritance is a huge topic. Okay, like huge topic. So be very careful, and I know it's not easy to get over, but you have to practice as much as possible. Okay, I had one more thing in my mind to discuss today. I forgot. We have discussed our interface. We have discussed about the interface getting the method implementation, multiple inheritance. I'm not remembering. Sorry, I forgot. Okay, any doubts from you guys till now?
Amitabh, the class should be public only, right? Or in
Class can be
interface?
interface, you are saying, like when it's inheriting, you are saying.
Yeah, yes.
When the interface is getting implemented in a class, it can be public. See, that's class own property. Like I want to keep my house public or private or something, that's my own property. Okay, class can also have the access modifiers and they can depend also.
The default
Yeah.
access modifier for interface will be public. So when we try inheriting in a class or accessing in a class, implementing in a class, we should explicitly make it as public, because in class the default access modifier will be a default.
Yes. Okay. Okay. That's what I was saying. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I never noticed, being honest. That's a new thing for me too.
Okay.
Okay. Any doubts, guys? In inheritance, whatever you have discussed till now, what is inheritance, how it works, how the parent child works, and what is a multiple inheritance, single inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Then what is the multiple inheritance problem? What is hierarchical inheritance? What is diamond problem? Whatever the terms I'm saying, if you guys are thinking, okay, I'm confident about it, then it's all good. If you are feeling, okay, what he has said, I have to go through it again. Either you note it down that you have to go through it again, or you can come back to me that, can you explain this again? Then you have the interface implementation, default methods for the interface. That's all for inheritance. But inheritance has a huge thing. Okay, I just remembered about this. What I have to discuss. If you guys have doubts, hold on for a minute, or else I'll forget again. So I was going to ask you guys that when you are inheriting a class, okay. So I'm class A, and there is a class B. So class A extends class B. Do you think you are getting access to the constructor of that parent?
No.
Amitabh, will you repeat it again, please?
I'm saying child class get access to parent constructor?
Yeah, Amitabh. Actually, it will be there,
We
no?
submit like
Automatically,
the type
we
listing.
extend that class.
No.
Automatically, the
Parent
class.
constructor would be always automatically available for the parent class. No issues. But
Yeah.
will child class get the access to parent constructor?
No. No.
No.
No.
We cannot
No.
access to the parent and constructor actually.
Whenever
Okay.
object creation or instance.
Yeah.
So object
It
creation is
will
not
be
the
there
question now.
actually.
Just a simple question.
I-
Will parent constructor available for child class?
No.
Some
If
typecasting topic is there.
by using super we can,
I
otherwise by
why you
default it
guys
is
are
no.
just saying too many things? Yes or no? Yes,
No.
raise your hand.
It is yes and no, Amitav, actually. So
Actually,
Yes,
we
sir.
are getting there. I mean,
yeah.
we are in dilemma, Amitabh. Actually.
No, you have to vote something. You already election has passed, right? So at least vote something.
uh,
Whoever is saying, why you guys are raising hand? Yes or no? Sorry, I forgot.
Child
You
Yes,
class.
asked
Amita.
us,
Yes, Amita.
those
Just
who are
Yes.
okay, you asked us to
Okay.
raise a hand.
Okay. Yes. So if you guys think that parent constructor would be available inside child class, then raise your hand. So only 6 people thinks there would be a, okay boss, there would be a parent constructor, 7 people now. Parent constructor inside a child class. 8 people now. And rest of the 15 people think there would be no.
No, yes, sir.
Don't know
No,
also.
Amitabh, actually.
I'm just asking about available. I'm not asking about functionality, how it will work and anything, just availability. Will parent constructor be available inside the child class?
No, sir.
Just Chinna, you are changing the party, okay? 2 people changed the
No.
party actually. Chinna again came back to party. Cool. So the answer would be what? Okay.
So it's a not applicable for inheritance to the constructor, sir.
Yeah, constructor part, I feel it's no, but first you asked, right?
Not
Parent class
applicable
object.
for
Feels
inheritance and the
audible with the
overriding part of constructor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the answer would be yes. Parent constructors are available at child level. Okay. And
Sir,
this is hugely important question. Why I have asked? I have asked this question because this is the starting point for our next topic. This question will answer all your doubts for the next topic. As long as you remember, you have to remember this, that parent constructors are available inside child class. Parent constructor, I have a parent called A class. I have a child called B. B extends A. That means A is parent, correct? So constructor A is available inside the class B also. Why? Because you're extending the whole class. That means you are getting everything of inside. It doesn't matter. You are not overriding it. That's true. You are not overriding it. Always calling the always extending doesn't mean override, right? It may mean that I don't want to do anything with it. Just let it be as it is. But you are getting it. Parent constructors are available for child class. This is universal truth. First thing. Second thing, this is one of the lines. It should have been in the like Bible or Bhagavad Gita because it is important and it is the base of the next topic, which is polymorphism. We'll be studying polymorphism tomorrow. And this is the baseline for polymorphism, that parent constructors are available with child. We'll see how it works, why it's important, how it triggers the polymorphism. We'll see everything. But tomorrow, the first thing for first 10 to 15 minutes, I want to see you guys sharing the screen and showing me that you guys have implemented the interface with the default and tried that thing, what I have said.
Can you
Okay.
explain the
Yeah.
default
okay.
methods, Amita, once again?
Yeah, so what default methods in an interface needs an implementation. Okay, so we know interface methods doesn't have an implementation, correct? But default methods have an implementation. Okay,
Okay.
and that's the task I have given. So you guys remember the task, right? Or maybe it has been recorded already, so it would be easy anyhow to go through later. So just go through it. And as I said, remember that parent constructors are available to child. And so we have known the interface, sorry, we have known the inheritance. From the inheritance, polymorphism is connected by this single thread, that parent constructors are available to child classes. That's it. And
Okay.
you will see the practical implementation also this time. This whole time I was saying constructor carries out the property of a class, right? Constructor gives the object that particular concept, how much area is needed, how much things are needed. And you will see that practical implementation tomorrow, how it works. And if anyone comes to my interview, the most asked question or the always asked question, I can show you what I ask them. I'll ask you guys also the same thing don't worry. But that single question will never create any doubt for you guys in polymorphism. Like that's the same thing I do for my own revision or concept. So that's it. Practice the inheritance, as I said, one interface with getting implemented in one class, two interfaces with a default method, both having a default method implemented in a single class. Even I haven't implemented, so I'm really eager to see what happens. Okay. See you guys tomorrow. And about the time, you guys just do a intra poll in between. Let me know. But please also keep in mind that it's always better for me as long as it's late night. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, late night.